Now, we move to our next shot, shot 4. Now, we talked about why we want this shot at this time, because again, sun is in a terrible spot at 1:15. We got our lunch, we rig the camera, we do all these things during this time. Yep, that all looks nice. In here for 1:15, yes. Why? Because the sun is in a bad spot, so that's good. Next, we are going to return 2 o'clock to 2:30, right? The later we push this out now, the better, because we want to get to this shot as late in the day as we can. But it's not like you can't be shooting nothing during the day. You have to be getting ready for something so that, client, agency, producers, they're happy that at least we're moving forward. But really, between lunch and this shot, we're buying time. We're taking it slow. We're talking to the director. We're saying, hey, ideally, we don't really want to be shooting this stuff until 2:30. And we get off a lunch at 1 o'clock. So let's just take it easy. This is not a hard shot to get, but we don't have to rush through it. If we want to do some different options, or if we want to try something else, now is the time to do it for these inserty shots, right? Let's change a lens. Let's try a different move. Let's do something to stall, because we don't want to get here at 1:30, right? Because 1:30, the sun is going to be straight overhead, blasting straight down. We want to leave this until the sun starts to slowly creep down in the sky and give us longer shadows this way, because this shot done at 2:30 has got to match shot number 2, which we shot at 11 o'clock, okay? But it makes sense. We go from the insert shot to the medium shot, then we're gonna go closer. Now, sometimes you might say, if you're really hurting for time and you're really hurting for look, depending on the time of year that it is, you might want to flop these. So go the close-up first, then go this way, then go with the medium. Because as we pull out, instead of shooting it at 2:30, we're shooting it at 3:30. Which just gives us an hour more. It might be a big difference. But for our purposes here, we've talked to Andre, the director. They really want to work that we play the medium shot with the line, continuity, everything like that. And then we go to this close-up at the end. So we're going to do it that way, which 2:30 to 3:15. Okay, that's more than enough time to get that stuff done. And again, we've got a 15-minute break in between to load up our next shot, which we've got taking 15 minutes. Now, 15 minutes is pushing it. Right, 15 minutes to get a shot, especially with the line, probably not doable. But at this stage, hopefully at this stage, we would be behind a little bit because we want to be a little bit later into the day. But 15 minutes, probably not enough to get this, right? It's probably going to be more in line with the 30 minutes. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, 15 minutes, it's just a close-up of a person, surely. That wouldn't take that long. But you got to remember, you've got the art department. They're going to get in there. You've got the fluff and buff team, right? Hair and makeup. They're going to get in there. They're going to be playing with the thing. We're going to look at eye lines. We're going to match to the shot before, which was, what was that, shot number 7? We're going to want to match to this shot. So maybe they bring up Q-Take or some other system to get the match correct. So 15 minutes may sound like a good chunk of time, but it's not. It goes like that, right? So that is then to that shot. And then this shot, rig drone and camera, and then a drone shot. So this is brand new. And this is not out of the ordinary for shots to be added in at the last second, because what will happen after the tech scout is normally you'll have your final pre-production meeting where the director, the producer will go and speak with the agency and the client and present, these are our things, this is our plan, this is where we're going, get everybody on the same page. And there might be some last minute, oh, wait a sec, we don't have enough for the edit, or we'd really like this. Now that we've seen the location, now that the talent has been cast, we want to change it to this particular thing. So drone shots, this is not out of the realm of possibility. And they just sneak it in at the end, right? Maybe the first AD just got this. They added it in at the end of the day because we hadn't had a discussion about it. But is this the best use of our time? And is this at 4:30 going to match the rest of the stuff? Is it the best use of time on set and best use of prep time? I would argue not here. And I'll tell you why. I'll explain why. Okay, so drone shots, you're probably going to want a completely separate camera, right? So we're talking about a separate camera package. And they're going to need lenses as well. So if you're going to share the same lenses, just making sure that they have enough time here. If you're shooting this on the 35mm and they also want to shoot this on the 35mm, they're going to have to, balance the gimbal. You're going to want to eat up time. So maybe you have to get another lens in or something like that. But I would say, I don't know, you have to look really closely. And if you download the document, you can see it. But in their tech recce still here of the drone shot, you'll see the problem that this location and this setup what the problem becomes with a drone. Right in here, you'll see a little tiny drone shadow. And that drone shadow, maybe it can be taken out with VFX, right? If it's just a static shot, you can just, cut it out and paste some of the other road over there. Maybe that's a quick fix, but that's something that you have to bring up. You can't really do this drone shot in the middle of the day because you'll end up with that drone shadow. So for our purposes, let's say they don't have the VFX budget or the capabilities to be able to take out that drone shadow. So we're gonna need a different solution. It's either we have to shoot it before, because the sun starts over here, remember, at our location, and moves all the way over here throughout the course of the day. So we either have to shoot it before, when the sun is over here, and this shadow ends up off screen over here, or we have to shoot it over here, and the shadow ends up over here, okay? For our purposes, though, I don't really like the idea of doing it later because the shadow is going to be a completely different angle on the ground versus our wide shots. I'd rather see that shadow coming this way. So I'm gonna suggest that we do this in the morning. And in fact, I'm gonna suggest we do this shot first up because we have, remember, we're waiting until 9 o'clock because we need the sun out of the frame, right? Well, at 8 o'clock, it's basically the amount of light here is going to be the same. We're just gonna have the sun in the shot so we can't actually shoot it. So the volume of light, it's not like it's going to greatly increase from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. It's just going to be a little bit higher in the sky, which gets us out of the frame, which means we can shoot the drone stuff at 8 o'clock, and that saves all of our rigging time because the drone can get there and start rigging. Its separate camera can use the lens because we don't need it early on in the morning, and we can be doing all of this work while the drone is also doing the same amount of work to get there and do this drone shot, right? So I'd be thinking, okay, let's get there early because the sun will at least be the same direction as the other wide shots. We'll avoid the shadow on the ground of the drone itself. And it just doubles up the work so that you're being more efficient. There's more stuff getting done rather than splitting it away to the end of the day. And then if we are behind, right, because we actually want to be a little bit behind for these two shots. Well, if we're an hour behind, now that puts us at 5:30 instead of 4:30 for the drone shot, which now it starts to get really, really late and much darker than the other shots. So let's front load all of our work. It also buys us more time to do the setup on this particular shot, right? Because we'll be doing the drone shot. So all of our location of the car relative to the road, all those things that normally take, a good 45 to an hour to shoot and set up, all that stuff, all those logistical things, all the art department things can be done on the drone shot. Because wherever these cars park, that's a big question on the day. Where are they going to be relative to this pole? Where are they going to be relative to the background? Those things take time on set to decide and then get everybody to move the cars and put them in the right spot. We can line all of that up on our A camera while this drone shot is being done, right? Because we can be over here with the A camera pointing this way, actually getting up and lining up our scene so that as soon as the drone shot is done, we can come up here and already be rigged for this shot. So look out for those bogeys when you do get that initial schedule. Have they added any shots? Have they thrown anything out of order that you didn't want, right? Have they placed the close-up as the third shot instead of this shot? Have they gone this shot to the flop, the other side, the reverse? Anything like that, that's mainly what we're looking for. And then you're just going over the times to be like, okay, I definitely have enough here, or I don't have enough here. And if you're working with a new first AD or a new director or a new crew, just be aware that if you like to light the framework way, and you like to light from outside, and you like to have big sources, you want to front load all of the work. And generally a great first AD will ask you just how you're going to operate, what you think, whether on the Tech Scout or just in a separate email, but be aware of those things when you're going in. So for us, the schedule looks good. Everything lines up. The only thing we're going to suggest to move is that drone shot to the front, which will help front load all of the work and get everybody off on the same page and just get those little wins early to start accumulating momentum, which is what we want throughout the day. So that's our look at the schedule. And from here, it's all about revising and getting into the actual shoot day.